Yes, a great place to get your family saving. And proud sponsor of the zoo. 70 acres of Dublin's Phoenix Park. Over 1 million visitors a year. 600 exotic animals. 22 dedicated keepers. Welcome to the zoo. Coming up, a field trip to the real gorilla rainforest. Cathy, the baby mangabey, prepares for a family reunion, and round-the-clock TLC for the zoo's tiniest primate. A few weeks ago, keepers at the South American house were delighted when the zoo's breeding pair of pygmy marmosets produced 2 tiny, healthy babies. But when keeper Susan rescued an even tinier marmoset from the floor of the habitat, it was clear the twins were actually triplets. For the last 3 weeks, Susan has been taking constant care of number 3, also known as Bug.
It's early morning. We're just going to do another feed to check this little guy, see how sleepy he is. He's probably as sleepy as I am. Hello, little fella. Now. Hello. Nudging around a little bit. How you doing, little fella? The hardest bit is actually getting him off the vet bed. He's, as you see, he's some grip, which is what we want. Nice grip for holding with the parents. There you go. Now, here we get you some grub. Here. Is that nice? This is baby formula we're feeding at the moment. He takes about half a mil because his little stomach now is so tiny it wouldn't hold a mil of fluids at the moment. So the key with this little guy is little and often. So during the day that means kind of hourly feeds every hour and a half, and at night it's every 2-hour feeds. So he is surely keeping us busy. What I'm just watching for here now is bubbles, because that means if there's any bubbles coming out of his nose or he's blowing bubbles out of his mouth, it means he's inhaling it as opposed to drinking it. It's going into his lungs instead of his stomach. He's so little, you can see that how close his nostrils are to his mouth. It'd be very easy for him to inhale the milk, and then they start getting fluid on the lungs and pneumonia, and that's a major risk. That's great. He's eating really well there now at the moment. Another problem you need to be careful with is that he doesn't get like milk rash or milk burn, and so when the milk dribbles down or anything, it basically irritates the skin quite badly. So you have to make sure that he's cleaned up. Oh, you're looking nice and alert. Basically, triplets would be quite rare in pygmy marmosets. Usually they'd have twins. You know, dog or a cat has a litter, they have multiple nipples to feed multiple offspring, but the pygmy marmoset only has 2 nipples, so generally they only have 2 offspring. So they have a third one, then we find that the weakest will get pushed out, which is what happened to this little fella. So it was just pure luck that morning. I happened to go in and find him that morning. You're a little cutie, you're perking up now. I'm actually going to weigh him now as well, just to see what weight he is. As he's saying, he's 14 grams. So that's okay, he's been in and around the 14 gram mark. So we might have to see if we can get some kind of high calorie supplement to feed him up with that, just so he put on a bit of weight. With handling animals, you always have to kind of wonder why did the mother, let them go or abandon them in the first place. Sometimes you can find there might be something wrong with the animal. The mother consented and they're basically cutting their losses. They don't want to expend any more energy in an animal that may not survive anyway. So fingers crossed he'll keep flourishing as he is, but I would like to see him put on a bit more weight. So I say I'm going to bring him into the vet today and get him to have a look and just see if he has any, maybe ideas about maybe increasing the food content or just something to see if he'll put on a bit more. The next stage then for this little guy, we're going to keep on feeding him up as much as we can. As he gets older, he'll start to get a bit more kind of active. You can see him now, even with his eyes, he's starting to focus on things and he's looking around and checking out his environment. So in the next couple of weeks he should start to become a little bit more independent, and we're hoping that he'll start, maybe moving around and crawling around a bit more. He'll also start to eat solid foods at about 5 weeks, so that's usually a fun time with youngsters, trying to introduce them to new foods. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Looks like he's getting sleepy again, like myself. So I'll be popping back in, and then I can go to bed for another couple of hours. I have an absolute newfound respect for anybody with a baby. I had no idea how just tiring it is, and just the lack of sleep. It's a shock to the system now. But the joys of them, he's worth it. He's so cute.
At the gorilla rainforest in the African plains, keeper Brendan is looking forward to expanding his knowledge of this extraordinary species, especially since he'll be doing it in the wild.
I'm going travelling. I'm off to Kenya and Uganda. Hopefully achieve a lifetime goal to see gorillas in the wild. And actually on a day like this, it kind of reminds me of the Gorillas in the Mist movie, because the weather is often quite misty, quite humid in the northern peaks of the mountain range where they live. They live in a Bunya National Park. There's about 300 gorillas living there. But because of ecotourism, they're quite safe there now. So that's why I especially want to go as well, because ecotourism is very important for a lot of animals in tropical areas. With ecotourism, it brings money to local people as guides, accommodation, and basically means the animals are kept alive, they're protected. People and animal gain. I think that's the big plus. So to go and support that is obviously like a donation to the project, but it also means, of course, for me, it's a fantastic trip to finally see gorillas in the wild. It's often debated, but about 4 different species of gorillas. Of course, here we have the western gorilla, the western lowland gorilla. There's another gorilla related to them called the riverine gorilla, and then there's the eastern gorilla, and one of the subspecies of the eastern gorilla is the mountain gorilla. So that's the species I'm going to see. In the wild, western lowland gorillas are harder to see. They're usually quite fearful of humans, especially because of the bushmeat trade, where they're often killed. And of course, generally, any experiences they've had with humans, gorillas of all the 4 different species, is often quite bad. Gorillas for me are my favourite animal. Ever since I was 4, 5, 6, I really wanted to see animals in the wild. And then I remember reading a book when I was about 10 or 11 about gorillas, and ever since then I thought I want to do it. I studied them a lot in college and did my thesis on them 10 years ago. So it's going to be fascinating to see them in the wild, and also some of the guys I work with for 15, 20 years, they have a wealth of knowledge. They can learn about how they eat, breeding, rearing babies. So I'll be able to hopefully apply some of what I learned with them to our gorillas here in Dublin Zoo.
Team leader Eddie is on his rounds at the family farm, where there's been a recent surge in the population, a feisty litter of Tamworth piglets.
They're 2 weeks old now, and they're developing very, very quickly. They suckle with the mother for about up to 6 weeks, and then they'll be weaned off her, and then they'll go off then on their own after that period. This is a little runt of our group, so we're keeping an eye on this. The staff here in the farm have been looking after it. It has hurt its leg the other day, it's twisting its leg, so John came over the vet and has checked it out, no major damage. Probably got banged by the other piglets. They're fairly rough for each other. Being so small, it's probably just been trying them, but the bigger ones, there's always little runs in the group, so the staff monitor him, make sure he's okay. Not many people keep them on farms. It's a breed that has gone down in numbers because farming has changed a lot over the years. So commercial farming has produced bigger and larger pigs than this Tamworth here, and also they're designed in a way that they live in forests. They're a narrow body that they can travel through thick scrub, and also the snouts are very long, which allows them to dig. We've been pretty lucky here in the farm having 10 piglets, but also in the African plains, the Red River Hog had piglets as well up there, so the numbers up there have increased as well, which is great. They haven't got as many as we have here in the farm, but they're doing pretty well up there in the African plains.
And so, to the African plains, where team leader Helen is checking up on the Tamworth's distant cousins.
You're looking at the Red River Hogs here. We've got a small family group. It's a little bit bigger now. At the moment, Bonnie's inside in the house with the piglets. Buster and his 2 offspring from last year are happily rooting around there at the moment. You have to be very careful of them for at least the first week, because they're quite prone to pneumonia. Again, the weather's after changing, it's gotten a little bit cold, so we'll keep them inside, certainly for the next week or so, and hopefully then we can start letting them out.
Hey, Holly.
Until they're fully weaned, the hoglets remain under the close watch of keeper John.
They're 2 days old. As you can see, all went very well. She's taken really good care of them. Bonnie is her name, and she's had 3 litters. This has been her 3rd. And the father, Buster's outside, he's 10 years of age. A lovely character.
There's always a little bit of concern when you have a male within the herd, because you could have some fighting from the father. The first year that we had the piglets born, he was brilliant. From day one, he was so careful walking around them, and they followed him endlessly. They were more inclined to follow after him than they were after the female. And, you'd see him lifting his legs really gingerly whenever they were around to ensure that he wasn't stepping on them. He was fantastic. They're quite widespread within sub-Saharan Africa, and they're found from the east to the west coast. They generally live in forested areas. They're not considered in any way endangered in the wild, but they are under pressure now from hunting for the bushmeat trade. They're quite perky. They're born with those stripes, and then within a year they'll be gone completely. That allows, of course, for them to be camouflaged when they're lying in the nest with the mother. They're actually very attractive, ugly beautiful, the male with the big tassels on the ears and everything, and of course he's got the quite dense bone structure as well on the face that allows for fighting without doing any major brain damage. They will live in large groups within the wild, up to 20, no problem. All going well. The plan is that we continue to build up our little group here, but so far there's been no problems at all, and we hope that will continue to be the case.
Having spent the last 4 days travelling through East Africa, Brendan has arrived at Lake Bunyoni in southwestern Uganda.
Okay, so first day at Lake Bunyoni, gorgeous place. We're about to go on a canoe ride now to check out some of the various different islands and heights and various different mountains, so it should be a good day, so looking forward to starting off now.
Here, in the natural habitat of some of his favourite animals, Brendan is in his element.
This is the base camp where we're going to be basing ourselves from to go and see the gorillas. Along the way we stopped off at a lot of national parks, saw some amazing animals. Hippo, buffalo, giraffe, many birds of prey, loads of hoofstock, it's been fantastic. Yeah, and then over in this direction we're told is Windy, where we'll be going tomorrow to the impenetrable forests to see the gorillas, so we're looking forward to that.
Several thousand kilometres north on another island in the zoo's African plains, the troop of Mangabe monkeys has developed a strong family bond. For baby female Kazi, removed from the troop and hand-reared by Helen after being accidentally injured 3 months ago, social skills have taken a little longer to foster. Now the gradual process of reintroduction to her mother Tima, her grandmother Malul, and the rest of the Mangabe family is almost complete. It'll soon be time for Helen and her team to let her go.
It's a huge day for Kazi today and the rest of us here. What we're going to do is we're actually going to bring her out to the island completely this morning. She's a fabulous day out, and hopefully she'll be climbing branches that are real and growing in a very short space of time. We've introduced her to all the females in the group, and she spends a huge amount of time out and about with them. She still has her own bed in here, and that's important to her because she has her safe zone. She still has a mammy in here, even if the other female hasn't picked her up. What we did was we introduced her to Tima first, and unfortunately Tima wasn't relaxed enough to spend time with her by herself. We tried it for about 2 or 3 days, and Tima was pacing, she was nervous, so we put Malul in with her baby Bolta, and that went really well because Tima immediately settled down, and also Malul was very accepting of Kazi, and it would allow her to touch off her, pull her tail, all the things that all the other Mangabes are allowed to do. And then of course there was the play element with Bolta, and when that was going really well, we brought Manika and her baby in, and Achimoto, and it settled into a nice little Mangabe group. That's Bolta, Malul's baby, and she would definitely be the one that she's gotten most attached to as well. You know, she regularly sits up beside Malul and Bolta together, so that's a pretty good sign. This is a huge moment for me because I've had a very strong personal interest in Cassie because, of course, she was coming home with me for hand rearing. Today is going to be like her first day at school. She'll be out in the big wide world. I can only help her so far, and then after that she has to make her own way. You can see where she is getting a lot stronger. She's starting to assert herself a little bit, but at the same time showing all the right behaviours at the right time, so it should go well.
It's just before dawn, on a day that Brendan has been looking forward to since his 2-week field trip to Central Africa began.
Okay, it's the morning of heading over to Windy. It's 5 a.m. We just left our Lake Bunyongi, our park for the night. So we're on our way now. We've got the convoy of cars going along. We're really excited, despite my very tired look. It's very early start this morning. We got up at 4 a.m. But I'm really, really excited about this now. It's going to be very cool. And so basically today is hopefully going to fulfill my holy grail in life to see mountain gorillas in the wild. Looking forward to it. Just arrived here at Windy, and it's starting to sink in. I've got all my gear ready, cameras, mosquito spray. So yeah, very much looking forward to seeing what the place has to offer. You see plenty of mist around. There's about 300 gorillas in this park, 350 different species of birds, over 150 mammal species, between 150 to 250 elephants, also about 200 different species of trees. So this is a pretty amazing place for all animals. So by coming to see the gorillas, you're not only supporting the gorillas, you're obviously equally importantly supporting all the other animals in the forest as well as the local people. So it's a really important project, and ecotourism is really helping these animals. Okay, so we're on our trek now. Going to Inshongi's group. We're told there's 23 in the group, which is a big group. We started only a few minutes ago. We just got a call on the radio to say that there's a change of direction in the group. The tracks are ahead. I've seen them go at a different angle. So we're keeping a good eye on the radios to see what's happening. Keep up to date. Still walking through Windy. This is a new view after getting here now. No reports as yet where the gorillas might exactly be. Okay, so we're walking along the national park now, and we've seen our first sign of potentially something there. This is a bit of gorilla poo. The trekkers say was, let's say, deposited yesterday. It's a little bit dry. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they're anyway close from here. Okay, so still walking along, we've seen lots more feces along the trail, and then we just spotted this broken limb here, which the trekkers say was only done yesterday. You can also see it's still quite moist, so you know it was fresh. Shows the strength. The forest around here, the habitat is fantastic. It's nice and thick. It's fascinating. Okay, time to move on. We're changing very much substrate now. It's much thicker forest. It's fantastic. So it's getting very hot, and it's quite a lot of nettles as well, a lot of thistles, a lot of thorns. Yeah, it's getting pretty full on. And we're getting closer to them, we think. That looks like the morning food, the rangers think, leftover food there. So it's onward this way, and continue with the journey. So you can hear the gorillas vocalising quite a bit there. They're obviously getting directly themselves, or they're starting to get to the fact that we're coming close. You can hear them calling there quite a lot. So it's getting exciting. So we're not sure what's happening at the moment, but we'll keep moving. We know we're close anyway. Just not sure of the exact location. It's very, very fresh. Gorilla dung there. Very fresh. That's possibly only a few minutes old. So here's more poo. We're getting very close. So the trick is just stay relaxed, drop to the ground as they do attack, and see what happens from there. So the next few minutes should be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh God.
That was the silverback charge. Absolutely amazing sight. Straight ahead of us is silverback. He's just come straight towards us. And again, it's so important to stay still like we all did to reconfirm that by chasing us away, we're trying to chase it away, it won't work. We all stay calm. So it sounds like there's microbes around us as well. This is amazing. Might be low. Okay. Off he goes. Amazing.
It's been a busy morning at the South American house for Susan. In the last few days, constant care for the baby marmoset hasn't left much time for sleep.
We've been eating 0.5 ml up to maybe 0.8 ml, really strong feeding, and we were feeding him every 2 hours. He was doing great, and even during the night we were able to do a break of up to 3 or 4 hours, so he was doing really well by himself. But then in the last 2 days he just doesn't seem to be as hungry, only eating 0.1 ml or 0.2 ml, so we had to increase the feeds to every hour, because again the major risk is that they'll get dehydrated because they're so little. So the last 2 nights now just been very intensive, every hour feeds and stuff like that. We've had the vet and everything has been keeping really close eye on him as well, and just keeping an eye on his weight. Today, if we noticed, then he was just a bit kind of weaker. He wasn't holding on, so if you held him in your hand, he had great grip, and he was kind of just a bit lax and falling off a lot. And this morning then he just seemed a bit kind of gaspy as well. So again, we rushed him straight down to the vet as soon as we noticed him gasping. We were able to put him on oxygen down there and everything, but things just didn't seem to work out, and he unfortunately died there this morning. I think everyone's in shock kind of still at the moment, just everyone's very sad about it. Oh, I'm going to miss him, yeah, like he was just the cutest little thing, how could you not? I think the whole section is going to feel this one, because the birth of an animal like this, where it's very hands-on, it's just really good for the morale of the whole kind of team. You'd think you kind of passed the danger zone, and I would have kind of hoped you would have been strong enough to pull through at that stage. And like literally another maybe week we would have been starting him on solid foods as well, and he would have been able to start climbing around by himself. We put so much work into him the last few weeks, and even the last 2 nights now, I think everyone's just kind of emotionally shattered now, I think, at this stage, so that's the way it goes sometimes, unfortunately, just one of those things. Still lovely, we have the other family group here, and there's 2 other youngsters there, and they're thriving, they're really fit and healthy as well. So it's really lovely sunny day today, and the rest of the family are all outside, and the youngsters are exploring, and they're chasing insects and bugs. You can see the difference between them and Bjug, like they're much bigger, much more alert. So, it does make me wonder, maybe there was something wrong with Bjug all along, and that's why maybe he was abandoned as a youngster, and this was always a gamble. We said that from the start, there may be something wrong with him. So it's really lovely now to see the youngsters out there for the first time, but I was just really sad that Bjug won't be out there with them to enjoy it. It's such a shame,
Next time on The Zoo, face to face with gorillas in the wild, a checkup for the baby red pandas, and little Kazi returns to Mangani Island.